Hello everyone. So what we'll have right now is a few of the presenters will come up and present their case studies in almost a gamified way. We are giving each presenter 2.5 minutes to present their case study, and then I'll ask a few questions and definitely throw it open to the audience also. So Rati, you want to go first? Yeah.
Thank you, Saurabh. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you so much for being present today. So I think I'll get started. Since just 2.5 minutes, I'll try and keep it short. So here I am to share an incredible story of a great collaboration between the MAS platform powered by Affle Group in India with Kuku FM. We are a global company, but we partnered with Kuku FM, which is one of the audiobook platforms, advertising greatly in the market since the past few years. Their mission has been to bring storytelling back to the heart of India. We all have come from backgrounds where we must have heard stories from our grandmothers when we were young, or our mothers when we were young. And Kuku FM was, of course, after this mission, and they wanted to make it accessible for all of us today in our busy lives, where we are commuting or cooking or interacting with friends while commuting. We would hear podcasts and so on. So Kuku FM's mission was the same. Their challenge was to be able to get more subscribers. And with that challenge, that's where MAS stepped in, because they also wanted more vernacular audiences present in the real Bharat of India, which is your tier 2 and tier 3 geographies. That's where MAS stepped in with our three-pronged strategy. Number one, identifying the right audiences using our DMP tool, which has several personas divided across age, gender, demographics, geography. And besides that, we of course ensured that we are reaching out to more regional and vernacular players. So even in our strategy, we were able to design our strategy in such a manner where we were driving installs and conversions and subscriptions more using different channels, a multi-channel strategy across OEMs, because local stores are more supposed to be used in tier 2, tier 3 cities. Programmatic, our own DSP that we utilized for running the campaign, and besides that, a lot of direct in-app inventories. With these three channels, we also, of course, gave access to the advertiser on our M-Insight platform, which also ensures that there is less overlap in publishers, as well as competitor insights were shared with them in order to stay ahead of competition. The results of the campaign were amazing, where we were able to drive 2x growth in the number of installs within a short span of time of running the campaign. And besides that, they also hit the golden mark of 2 million subscribers when we were working with them on this campaign. So those are the results of our collaboration with Kuku FM, and I'm hoping to win some accolades for that today evening. So look forward to any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Rati.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Sameer Jain, VPN Head, D2C E-Commerce, Max Life Insurance.
Hi everyone, we have a video which summarizes our case study, so I'm just going to request them to play the video and I'll summarize at the end.
In 2019, when the wave of digitization moved everything offline to online, to drive business goals, Max Life needed to grow their digital customer acquisitions through media publishers that could deliver scale, quality, and cost efficiency. This is where Amazon ads played a key role. Max Life was looking for educated, family-oriented individuals over 25 years with an annual income of over 5 lakhs. These audiences were similar to Amazon audiences with strong overlap seen in secondary research data, thus making Amazon ads a preferred media publisher for us. Max Life Insurance and their media agency, Hive Minds, worked to find relevant audience cohorts within Amazon's rich deterministic audience pool for term insurance. Additional filters were added to ensure high-quality leads. To enhance scale, 2 to 3 new cohorts were experimented with every month. Max Life also doubled down on investments during peak insurance sales season. To drive conversions, Max Life enabled retargeting campaigns which drove 40% cost efficiencies while also optimizing existing cohorts weekly. Next, it was time to select the right channel, mobile. Thus, this campaign ran on an ad placements available on Amazon's mobile app. This was supplemented by a 30% always-on SOV campaign on a homepage BTF slot, and the mobile-first strategy hit the bullseye, enabling higher scalability, contactability, and conversion rates along with optimized CX. Through joint workshops, the creative strategy was revamped around 6 pillars, which led to 70% jump in CTR. Over financial year 2022 to 23, leveraging the 5 mechanisms used, the campaign successfully delivered high-quality leads, outperforming other major publishers. The campaign delivered over 616 million impressions, reaching a cumulative audience of 58 million plus. Max Life got 33% better engagement versus other term insurance advertisers on Amazon ads. Amazon ads ranked highest among other display channels in terms of the quality of the prospects. Amazon has continuously contributed to 20 to 25% to the overall pool of quality leads and approx 14 to 16% of the overall sales, and this is just the beginning.
So, just to summarize this, we are in a category where we are hungry for growth, and there's a lot of work that we do on prospecting and display, and we're constantly looking for newer audience, newer avenues, newer partners to fuel our growth. What we've really discovered is a great partner in Amazon, and what really worked for us was the three of us getting together: Hive Minds, Max Life, and Amazon. And we've been at it. It's not been, it's not been an overnight success. We've been at it for the last 2 to 3 years or more, and continuously optimizing our campaigns, the creative placements. The teams have been huddling up for weekly iterations, and at the end of it all, we've been able to drive significant business scale, ROI, and quality of prospects. So that's what I had to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Samir. Okay, next up we have Sejal Lodia, General Manager, Wavemaker. Do we have her with us? Yeah.
Okay, I'm here to present as to how we actually leverage the branding platform to achieve our performance goals. Just to say, when we are actually looking for performance campaigns, we actually look on to for experts, right? And we try to tell them and ask them what are the best practices, and we clearly rely on them. But are they really the best efforts that we are relying on, or the best category? Because they clearly come back to us and say, invest this much, and these are the category benchmarks, and these are the numbers that you will have. But clearly we never attain this. So I'm here to tell you how we manage to rely on our own benchmarks and come back to us as to what should be the best practices for our particular brand, which is Vodafone Idea, and how we rely on it. So just to give you a context, the telecom category has been stagnated. Everybody has a mobile phone, right? And we have, it has been stagnated in the last 3 years. Yes, people are upgrading from feature phone to smartphones here, but we are clearly stagnated, and therefore telecoms now need to look at different way to monetize, and therefore how do we monetize this, right? So what they've done, they have an app. A lot of people come on their app to recharge, and therefore they want to monetize the app and people on the app. So they have gone and ventured to really a lot of avenues so that people keep coming to them for various. So they have music, different OTT, and clearly this is there. So once people are on the app, they can actually monetize with the people's information. But how do we get people to keep coming onto us? And therefore the challenge that was thrown on us is that they want to increase their MAU base by 25%. Okay, now if you see in the last 2 years or the last year itself, one of the reports says that the app spends have grown by 24% compared to the digital spend, which has only grown by 25%. So your e-com, your fintech, everybody is actually spending on MAU app install campaigns. But are they really worth it, right? Is they giving you the MAU? So yeah, when you invest on apps, you get 8 installs, you may get great MAUs, but that's not the right way to see it, because you may get an install which may be ranging from 4 rupees to 10 rupees and so on, but clearly not the way to look at it. Because when you do app installs, there are huge buckets in the hole. These will be the people who will uninstall the fastest, there will be people who will dormant faster, right? And clearly they are not going to help. So even if you say, oh, I got 2 million app installs, but they are not going to be 2 million, the same customers going forward. So what do I mean to say? In any category, when you have an app install, you will have a 50% of your base, which is a stable base. And you will have another 30-35%, which is an unstable base, which will keep coming and going. And a 15 to 20% of your base will be a dormant base. So clearly you have to rely on your stable base to keep growing and try to negate the unstable base which is there. And that is what exactly we wanted to do. How do we manage to grow our stable base? Now when we look at performance campaigns, if you put money in your paid campaigns, you're going to cannibalize the organic installs that are actually happening. So you have paid installs and your organic installs. So if you keep increasing your paid campaigns, you're wasting it because you're cannibalizing the organic installs. If you're cannibalizing, it means that install which was going to come free of cost to you, you've actually paid money for it. So we clearly demarcated as to what is the money and what is the investment that was required, okay, that will not cannibalize into organic installs. That is something, the first thing we did. Now when we did that, the 25% target we had, we were able to achieve only 15% of the target with the performance campaign. But what about the rest of the 10%, right? We have to reach that number. Well, this is what we do, and therefore we clearly needed a disruptive idea where we needed to, grow this, and we did have. If you keep putting in the bucket of the paid spend, it's going to keep having uninstall rates. So when you think it is easy to say and easy to done, and when I tell you the solution and say, oh, so simple, but it was clearly not. We partnered with KBC, okay, which is one of the biggest reality shows in India. And what did we really do? We actually had first of the kind property. So what did we do is we actually had an exclusive property for V users only, which was the Golden Week. Okay, we dedicated a week which was there where only the V users can come on the V app, participate on the question, and the for a week, all the fastest finger first contestants will be the V users. So clearly, who would not want to answer the question, not meet Amitabh Bachchan, and not get a chance to win 7 crores, right? So we actually did that. So after partnering with all of this and doing this, we actually managed to get our overall organic installs up. And when we did that, we even during this time put our paid install campaigns at a very low level so that the influx that is happening is very, very low, right? Yes. So I already spoke about this. So when we actually did this, we managed to get almost 30% of our targets in, just the journey where the V user would download the app or upgrade the V app. So we not only solved for new consumers, but even the dormant users which were there, and they participated in the V Golden V contest, and they managed to install more and more apps. And we managed to get 30% of our installs in just 5 months, where we had a target of 25% in the next year. Was this simple? No, it was not simple at all. Where it looked very simple, it was not simple. First, the back-end app team had to ready to fire the question as soon as Amitabh Bachchan opened it on the screen, which was live. Like when he opened it at 9:32 or wherever, that you people have to, all the V users have a chance to participate. When he opened, we had to that time actually put the question on our app live, right? We had to see to that all the data that we got from V users who were participating in the contest, we had to give it back to Sony without any data encroachment, because that requires a lot of laws. so that they can choose the top 10 consumers every week which is there. At the same time, our backend team, which is your tech team and your server team, had to be ready to manage the kind of load that will come only specific during that half an hour when this contest is announced by Amitabh Bachchan. And we did see a huge spike actually happening that time, because that would actually get the servers, and we didn't want to crash the user journey, right? We didn't want the app to crash, we didn't want the user journey to crash. So a lot of work happened at the back end. The same comms were given to all the users, even if they were not watching the show, to WhatsApp, notifications, even paid campaign happened through that. And this was a matter of almost 1.5 weeks when we managed to get obscene amounts of install, which managed to take our targets within 5 months. That's about it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Sejal. Now, quickly, we've already overshot time. We're quickly going to invite, please stay back. We're going to invite Kanika Bhatia, Associate Director, Brand Planning, Performix, and Rajit Desai, Senior Vice President, Client Leadership, Mindshare. Rati, Sameer, and Sejal, please join us on stage.
Hello. Please have a seat. Since we have 4 minutes, I've never felt under so much stress. Literally a ticker going. Okay. So I won't have time to ask all of you questions, but let's pick up a few key issues you touched upon. So Sameer, you spoke about Amazon ads. And that's personally something I have been exploring. I see a lot of clients asking about it. And what you did was very interesting. You took a category like BFSI, which most people don't go for Amazon ads. It's usually retail, B2C or general retail. How would you compare it to our two other behemoths, Meta and Google, in terms of ROI? And if any of the other panelists have had an experience with Amazon compared to the other two, because a lot of us are exploring Amazon ads right now from an ROI perspective, and this session is not sponsored by Amazon, but yeah.
Okay, so specific to our category, there's only as much we can spend on Google, because not everybody is searching for insurance online, and hence we max out on Google. And then majority of our spends are on Meta. However, Meta also beyond a point reaches a stage where the ROI doesn't come. Right? So we max out our spends on Meta, and it still doesn't satiate our growth appetite. And hence we have to look for other avenues outside of Google and Meta. Where Amazon really fits in is, one, it's a closed ecosystem, unlike Google and Meta. Users are coming for shopping there. And with the first party data that Amazon has, it's able to pinpoint audiences very sharply. For instance, if you're wanting to target new parents, if you're wanting to target fitness enthusiasts, we've in the past seen that people who are very avid, let's say, salon visitors also have an affinity for insurance, because self-care sort of ties to valuing your life in some way. So being able to target all these audiences sharply on Amazon, and also most audiences on Amazon are premium, right? So and that's what we look for. Especially in our category, we want users who have a salary or are able to justify a certain level of salary to be able to buy insurance. We get all of that on that platform. Plus, they have built their own proprietary conversion pixel, which is able to use machine learning and then optimize for a deeper funnel goal. So all of this put together, it's a very good third partner outside of Google and Meta.
So very quickly, just in terms of percentage, any split you currently have, if you can share?
I wouldn't want to give out that in this forum.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, so for some categories, in fact for many of the categories, the behavioral signals which you get from Amazon are absolutely top quality, because there is profiled information of you have actually purchased a particular product or a particular category or something like that. Like look at something like dishwash. Okay, I know that if somebody has purchased finished, then I know what is the level of affluence of that particular person, and use that for targeting a lot of other allied categories which may not necessarily, but it is just a great marker for affluence, which none of the other platforms are actually able to provide overall as a thing. So leave aside the fact that whether advertising on Amazon as a destination, but using the Amazon DSP itself is a gold mine. So I don't think any other platform which comes really close to that, including Google and Facebook, Meta, is what I would go to the extent of saying that.
Any brands or any categories rather which are not working that great on Amazon, you are still exploring if this can work? Like I had heard BFSI is not that great, reality is not great, hospitality, e-commerce and D2C is brilliant. What has your experience been like?
I think in general I mean, see, you're not going to go for BFSI on Amazon, but markers of affluence and using that not as a direct thing is I think second to none is what we have seen so far. But of course, I'm sure there are other instances.
One insight, I hope we get a chance to talk later. What I found interesting in many of your campaigns, that unlike earlier where we had this tactic, we executed it and then did it later, all of you did cohort and kept on kind of growth hacking it, get the right audience set. I think that behavior is really changing with most agencies and clients. Would that be right? Yeah, that there's a lot of growth. What we traditionally call growth hacking is happening more in advertising now, that a lot of optimization is happening on a month-on-month basis.
It's no more media efficiencies, right? It's more on what is the ROI. So I think we are doing, our KPIs are now more on ROI driven than on getting media efficiency.
I would also like to add to that. I think, so Amazon ads, I couldn't speak much because they are our direct competitors, obviously. But having said that, there is always an ask, and Samir here can validate that because he's on the client side, that there is always an ask for more and more channels to drive more user acquisition and more growth. Especially in the year 2023, we've seen greater ROAS focus than any other yesteryears, given the fact that there is funding winter. There is less money on the table on advertising. Of course, there are channels which are growing and there are companies which will go on spending. But with all of these trends, I think it's important to explore more and more channels and see where your efficiencies and ROIs are coming from. And you raised the point where audience segmentation and cohort is very important today because we cannot leave any dollars wasted. And hence.
True. My KPI is time.
So Saurabh, maybe we can take one or two audience questions.
Great. Okay. Anybody has a question? Could you just raise your hand? Okay. I had a bunch of questions, but just one question. Okay, I'll take one. In terms of, let's explore another one, OTT. Okay, OTT, how is that performing as a media channel? Any of you have been exploring OTT?
Yeah, so we've been working with a CPG brand and outside of Meta and YouTube universe, where do you go? And even with OTTs now, with having them partnered with a lot of these DSPs and having their own sort of segmentation, and I think it all ties up, right? You are chasing the right audience and you want to be present where they are present, and OTTs, CTVs, all of this is tying up to the fact that we want to be present as brands where consumers are, and we're not looking at as OTTs as just driving videos, video views, etc., because these are very primitive sort of measures, but what kind of audience quality that they're bringing, on the website, right? And we have technology partners measuring all of that. So I think OTTs add that incremental sort of frequency outside of Meta YouTube universe. Great partners to have to drive those non-skip, longish sort of videos when brands do have those, right? In this era of 6-second reels, brands are still under 20, 30, and even some of them are going much longer. But I think that's where OTTs are definitely helping us.
Anybody wants to add to that?
what we can say with OTT connected TV, right? With a lot of consumers now actually giving up normal TV, how do you actually catch them? Right? Because mobile is actually still a small screen. How much can you really consume? With OTT connected TV, you get that premium audience that you are actually looking for, that linear TV. So it is actually part of linear TV again, because it is a lot of catch-up audience which is still there. So I think it's a great platform to have now to catch the premium audience. Rather than trying to optimize your plans to SCCA, you actually have a bucket that you can pick it up and say, okay, if I want to target SCCA audience, this is where I want to.
And are these budgets coming from television, or are these budgets coming from the rest of the digital media channels? Meta and
I
Google?
don't think nowadays budgets are divided into TV or digital. It is actually audience planning that we are doing. Basis your briefs, basis your audience markets, we are now actually going towards audience planning rather than offline and traditional. That's right.
Just wanted to add a point. So we, a few years back, we were at a stage where there are brand budgets, brand campaigns, and there were performance budgets and performance campaigns. Those lines are blurring. We've also seen, we've moved from linear TV focused brand campaign to linear plus OTT connected, and now purely only 90% indexed on OTT and connected TV campaigns also. Where we are struggling is measurability. Similar to linear TV, the only way to measure impact of OTT and connected TV in most channels is via market mix modeling or statistical analysis, or let's say a brand lift study. We're still trying to figure out a better way, and I'm sure that this industry is also
It's going to mature and
maturing, and we'll reach a stage where even performance budgets are being put on these channels.
true. Though I would say,
Just one last point which is there on that. If your audience is young, affluent and urban, then you have no option but to be on OTT.
young, affluent, and urban. Great. So let's wrap up this section on this note.